Welcome back to GDT Tech Reviews. In this video we are going to do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best drones under $500, 2022. So let us get started and the review based on our studies and small research. If you have any personal suggestion, do let us know in the comment section. If you are for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon for more videos. We will be also providing affiliates link to purchase from Amazon. Kindly use to for best offers and purchase from anywhere in the world. So let's get started. The Telo's body is made from a sturdy plastic and its 4 propeller arms are fixed in place. The propellers themselves are protected by removable guards and the Telo quickly shuts down its motors if it's unable to continue flying after a collision. Without a controller as standard, most pilots will be flying the Telo via the app, though it is also compatible with dual-stick, Bluetooth controllers, such those found on the PlayStation or Xbox. Fortunately, the app is well put together and far easier to use than many of the others which accompany similarly priced aircraft. Whether flying via the app or a controller, once launched the Telo hovers a meter or so above the ground and does a great job of maintaining height and position indoors, without exhibiting the drift issues that hamper many similarly priced drones. While pricier models use GPS to maintain their position, the Telo instead has a vision positioning system which uses an infrared sensor and a small camera on the underside of the aircraft to enable precise hovering of altitudes up to 10 meters. The tech works really well and is way more impressive than anything we've seen on any price rival. It even keeps the Telo stable over uneven surfaces such as stairs and over different floor levels. The drone makes smooth, precise movements during flight and responds very quickly to the pilot's control inputs. You always feel completely in control of the Telo when flying indoors. Outdoors though, the Telo is hard to control even in the lightest breath of wind, which is an issue that affects all toy drones due to their sub 250 grams weights. That said, with its positioning system the Telo fares a little better than most, but even so we'd only recommend flying it outdoors in open spaces on the calmest of days. The Telo has 2 flying speeds, with the faster one making a big increase to the aircraft's maneuvering speed. It also has a number of preset flight modes which you can select by swiping through to a selection screen on the app. Some are useful, such as Circle and 360, which record video as the Telo spins in a circle or rotates on the spot. Others are more fun like Throw and Go, which allows you to launch the Telo by tossing it into the air, or 8D Flips, which lets you pick from 8 different directional flips. The Evo Nano weighs just 249 grams, and that means that, like the DJI Mini and Mini 2, it can be flown in more places than drones above the 250 grams weight limit. This is a key selling point because most of us are casual users who only fly occasionally when, say, on holiday, away for a weekend or shooting a family gathering. The last thing we want to do is have to jump through complicated legal hoops just so we can occasionally fly in areas considered a bit more dangerous. The Evo Nano is 142x94x55mm when folded, a mere 4mm longer than the Mini 2. But at 260x325x55mm when unfolded, it has a considerably larger wingspan which you could argue gives better stability in wind. Like the Mini 2, the Evo Nano is rated at level 5 for wind resistance. To be honest, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between the Nano and DJI Mini 2 even when on the ground, let alone in the air. They are both very similar in design through the Evo Nano's rear propeller arms fold back horizontally rather than vertically, a bonus if the obstacle avoidance is off and you reverse into a tree. Build quality is perfectly acceptable for this price point, though the Nano's plastic construction does feel a tad thinner than that used on most DJI drones. Nevertheless, the Evo Nano feels so light in the hand it will probably survive most crashes, unless of course it's flown straight into a wall in sport mode. Like any modern drone, the Autel Evo Nano ships with a hand controller replete with cradle for plugging in a mobile phone so you can view the scene from the drone's camera along with a wide range of in-flight stats. The Evo Nano's hand controller feels reassuringly weighty and extremely comfortable in the hand, and it's not as brick-like as the DJI Mini 2's. It's equipped with all the right buttons, too, including Return to Home, a dedicated button for image and video taking, and a fantastically smooth and beautifully dialed gimbal controller. However, where DJI controllers have a space for storing the joysticks during transport, This model doesn't, so you'll need to remove the sticks before putting the controller in the supplied bag and store them in the bag's zipped compartment. The Mavic 3 follows the same design principles as previous Mavic drones. This means the propeller arms fold inwards to make the drone much smaller and more backpack friendly when it's not in use, before folding out again in seconds when you're ready to get it airborne. Despite its darker paint job, the Mavic 3 also has that distinctive, iconic Mavic look and build quality. The folded dimensions of the Mavic 3 are 212x96.3 by 90.3 mm, while its unfolded size is 347.5 x 283 by 107.7 mm. This makes it similar to the Mavic 2 Pro when folded, with the unfolded size being slightly larger. The Mavic 3's takeoff weight is 895 grams for the standard version and 899 grams for the Cine version. This is actually lighter than the Mavic 2 Pro, 907 grams, which is impressive considering the Mavic 3's battery is heavier and offers a higher capacity of 5000 mAh compared to Mavic 2's 3850 mAh battery. This time, the battery inserts into the back of the Mavic 3 body, rather than into the top. While the battery is a key player in the Mavic 3's improved flight time, some more efficient motors and propellers, alongside the drone's slightly reduced weight, help to increase flight times and provide a maximum speed of 47 miles per hour, 21 meters per second in sport mode. But those aren't the only design improvements, with the shape of the drone, camera and propeller arms all streamlined to reduce drag, which DJI claims adds up to a 35% improvement compared to the Mavic 2 series. This is, of course, impossible to test, but flight times have certainly improved since the previous generation. The Mavic 3 is a nimble drone that's much more responsive in flight than its Mavic 2 predecessors. In this respect, it's actually more like the DJI Phantom 4 Pro V2.0. The controls are simply much more sensitive in both normal and sport modes, while Cine mode offers reduced control sensitivity and speed for smoother flights and more cinematic video footage. Flight is as nimble or subdued as you need it to be. While the Mavic 3's features and price make it more suited to experienced drone pilots and professional content creators, it could also serve as an entry point for beginners thanks to its advanced safety features and the popular QuickShots flight modes. The Mavic Air 2 is a bit bigger all around than its predecessor, the Mavic Air, but you probably won't care. At 3.3 by 3.8 by 7.1 inches, HWD, and 1.3 pounds, it's slim enough to find a space inside most photographers' gear bags. The footprint is larger when the arms are extended and the drone is ready to fly, but the profile is still pretty low. You may not be able to take off from a lawn if the grass isn't freshly cut, but you can typically find an appropriately flat patch of dirt or asphalt to launch. It's heavy enough to require registration for use in the US. The fee is a nominal $5. We have a primer on drone regulations. If you're thinking about buying a drone, but aren't sure about where you're allowed to fly, take the time to read it before you make the decision to add one to your kit. If you're used to using your smartphone for terrestrial shots, a small shoulder bag makes for a fine fashion accessory and drone protector. DJI includes one if you buy the drone along with spare batteries. Its Fly More kit is $988 and adds a bag, 2 additional batteries, neutral density filters, and a multi-battery charger to the kit. The Air 2 has running lights for improved visibility, and you can toggle a bright light on its undercarriage if you're having a hard time spotting it. The dual GPS and GLONASS receivers kick in automatically for outdoor flight to keep it steady and track its position. The Air 2 will return to home with the press of a button, and there's a Find My Drone function available to record its last known position if you do need to bring it down for an emergency landing. New to the series is AirSense, an ADS-B transponder. It warns you when there are manned aircraft near your drone. It's your responsibility as a pilot to cede airspace to a passing helicopter or plane. The Air 2S is small at just 180x97x80 mm when folded, and 183x253x77 mm when unfolded. It's barely any different to its predecessor, but that puts the folded length at 4 mm shorter than the Mavic Air 2. And at just 595 grams, The Air 2S is just over half the weight of the DJI Mavic 2 Pro and just 25 grams heavier than the Air 2, which is very impressive considering its larger camera. The controller is the same as the one you get with the Mavic Air 2. Unlike the Mavic 2 Pro's controller, though, it isn't foldable and is larger with a weight of 393 grams. While it connects to the aircraft faster than the Mavic 2 controller, it, unfortunately, doesn't offer a simple screen showing basic flight and camera information. Without the folding arms to support a phone, the phone attaches to the top of the controller using a telescopic grip, and the control sticks are stored in rubberized sections at the bottom of the controller. It's a comfortable controller to use, but it's a shame it's larger and heavier than the Mavic 2 Pro and Mavic 2 Zoom's controller. Flying the DJI Air 2S is extremely easy, and indeed safe, thanks to the flight features that the Mavic series have become well known for. Whether you're an absolute beginner or a seasoned expert, the flight modes, automated video modes, collision avoidance and manual flight control provide as little or as much assistance as you need. The Air 2S features all of the camera functions you'd expect, including single shot, timed photo, EIB, auto exposure bracketing, HDR, panoramas and hyperlapses. Plus, there's a new smart photo mode that records full resolution photos using scene analysis and deep learning to automatically choose the best of three options, HDR, hyperlight and scene recognition, for your photo. This is great for photography beginners who want to capture a high-quality image with minimum effort, but not so much for more advanced users. Still, if you're capturing stills in RAW plus JPEG mode, the JPEG will be processed as a smart photo while the RAW file will be unprocessed, so you can edit it yourself if you wish.